I am Vicki Funk.
I am Lindsay Dolan.
I am Kristen Casper.
I am Shayla Moore.
And I'm a member of the Relief Society in the Willowbrook Ward.
And I am a member of the Relief Society in the Willowbrook Ward.
I am a member of the Relief Society of the Willowbrook Ward.
And I am a member of the Relief Society in the Willowbrook Ward.
The sisters, and the whole ward has just been so spiritual, We've just noticed that since we moved over here, that people here are just so spiritual, and everybody just gives really good lessons, and it's just been a really nice place to live.
I think each aspect of Relief Society, whether it being getting together on Sunday, the weeknight meetings, or visiting teaching, is an important aspect. I think it's good. As women, I've said that we have things pulling us all the time, and to take that break for yourself. Sometimes it's good to get out of the house and to focus on yourself and to re-energize, your personal time and also your personal testimony of Christ, to be able to give back more and to be strengthened to, be a good sister, to be a good wife, to be a good mother, to be a good daughter of God, to take that time for yourself and to focus on that.
You have your immediate family and you have like sisters or whatever there, but then once you get married and you move on with your life, you don't have maybe your sisters or your sisterhood that you grew up with as close. So being a member of the Relief Society, you can have those bonds with other women, and you can kind of a lot of times you're in the same stage of life, either having young kids or older, and you can kind of relate or commiserate with each other. And just have a friend, somebody to talk to. If you can't talk with this person, you have a whole variety of other people that you can talk to.
So I think it's important to be part of the Relief Society sisterhood. I think we all have struggles and moments of self-doubt, so I think it's important that we rely on other people to, their testimonies or their experiences to strengthen us at those times. I think if we were all left on our own, it could be a very lonely, very depressing life experience. So I think that reaching out and befriending others and letting other people befriend you is important. I think it strengthens you and helps you to realize that you're not alone.
I think from what I've experienced that the ladies are, they come from different backgrounds, and they're not afraid to, let that be known. They all have very unique experiences, and they talk about their lives in their realm, and I think it's really helpful to know how people think differently from yourself and understand gospel principles differently than you do. Over the last 5 years, I've been in 14 different Relief Societies. And every single place I've been, I felt like Relief Society is kind of the common denominator. I feel like I can be at home because I know what we're going to do each Sunday. I know that we're going to have activities that give me an opportunity to meet some people. That there's always kind of that motherly figure for me that I could feel comfortable with, or best friend, whatever it might look like, just to help me feel comfortable. And I think that that's really neat, because not every religion is like that. Not every organization has the opportunity for you to know for certainty that there's going to be an hour every Sunday that you can be with like-minded women, where you can just be yourself and be comfortable and know that you share the same values, and you don't have to always watch what you say if your religious views are going to be different than somebody else's.
47 years I've been a visiting teacher, and I'm not saying I was 100% all the time, but I tried to be 100% And the sisters that I visit, I always get to be good friends with them. You know, right now I visit, I'm really good friends with them. Hope they think I'm their friend too. You know, but
I visit teach actually people that aren't in the Young Women's with me, which is nice. So then I get to go and visit other people. Well, one is in the Young Women's with me, but so I get to go and visit with them. And I've actually been their visiting teacher for, I think it's like a year and a half, 2 years now. So I know them, they're comfortable with me, I'm familiar with them. And so instead of, you know, kind of being like stiff and awkward, you know, instead of just being like, I'm only your visiting teacher, I'm your friend, you know, I'm here, I'm interested in what's going on in your life, I am invested, and I want to know how you're doing, instead of just like, here's your message, see you later, you know. I actually want to sit and visit with them as opposed to just get my numbers in.
I think at least for my situation, I run from class to work, and then I run from work to home, and trying to get housework done and homework and callings. I think it's just kind of matching up our schedules. It's just when we only have like one day a week that is a possibility of even meeting together, that can probably just throw it all off, I think.
I just think you feel like, just as a woman, you feel like you have so many things pulling at you at once. And, you know, making that time and that effort when you know that you could fill your time with a million other things, I mean, that makes it difficult. You know that you can use that time elsewhere. And, you know, I guess you kind of have to figure out that good, better, best, you know, where you're best spending your time.
I think we make it harder than what it really is, to be honest. Because there was like, you know, 2 years or so that I didn't know who my partner was. I didn't know her, and granted, I probably didn't take the effort to get to know her because I was, again, in Young Women's. She was in Relief Society, and I never ever went. But once I actually had a partner that was like, oh, we need to go, then I felt like, okay, I wasn't the only one, like, going.
you get so busy in your life and you have so many things to do. And I don't know, even though, you know, I really like visiting, teaching, and I like being when I'm there, but sometimes you're just so busy and trying to get with your partner, it's just really hard to get out and go, you know. But it shouldn't be that way, but you know, you just have to make sure you make time to do it.
I remember the first time I went visiting teaching was in my little singles ward right after high school, and we went and visited a girl that was a little bit older than me, and I had known her from just school, but I just remember feeling like I genuinely wanted to make sure that everything was okay. And I didn't really know what her individual circumstances were or what she was doing in life, but I just wanted to make sure that whatever she was doing, that she felt like she was loved, and that I was there for her if she needed it.
Where it wasn't really me, it was my partner. She was in charge of giving the message. And I just remember we were at 2 different houses giving the same message, and she gave 2 completely different messages from the same message. So it was relevant, but I could just feel the spirit that those messages were meant for each sister, and both of them expressed that it kind of helped boost them with something that they were struggling with at that time. So I was just impressed that she was able to follow the spirit and, you know, give an individual message for those sisters, even though it was from the same message, you know, from the monthly message. She was able to share with them and give them strength. And I don't know that she had any idea that they were struggling with that at that time, but just that, you know, as we make the effort to go visiting, teaching, Heavenly Father will inspire us with those messages that we need to share.
When we lived in Virginia, I was just a brand new mother. I mean, my first baby was born here, and 2.5 weeks we went back to Virginia. And so, you know, I had nobody to call on, or, you know, no family or anything. And so this one lady, she just kind of sort of took me under her wing, I think, and she had a child that died, and I don't know how old he was. I think he was kind of still a baby. And so I think she just kind of wanted to help me out because of my new baby, and my son, I don't know, he got he'd get a cold almost every month. I don't know why, if it was allergies or what, but I was taking him to the doctor all the time, and she was really worried about him all the time, you know, and she'd come over and bring me a vaporizer and just come over and visit, you know, just to help me out. And
it's just got to be really hard when you're in a home environment where maybe like the gospel's not taught all the time, or you're not living the gospel principles that maybe you lived when you were younger. Maybe just even having like just a little bit of a reminder may help them decide later on that they want to come back. If visiting teaching is the only contact they get with the, you know, LDS church, then you need to, you know, make sure it's always a positive example and you leave them with something positive, which I always felt like we did. So I hope that it brightened their day. I would like to think that it did, and I know it brightened mine to be like, you know, maybe I shared something positive with them. I mean, it's all of the principles of the gospel, of course, are deep and, you know, tender to me because that's why I choose to live it, and it's brought me so many blessings. And so I don't know, I would like to think that it touched her heart, because whenever we left, you know, she was always I think a little bit nicer, not nicer, but that's not the right word. She's always nice, but maybe a little bit more, her heart was softened maybe a little bit more, maybe towards one specific principle that, you know, the First Presidency put together for that month.
I mean, there's no chance. There's not any kind of coincidence. I firmly believe that everything is specifically planned out. It's very intricate, and our Father in Heaven is very much a planner. I feel like that's one of his key qualities, is that he has everything lined out.
It really isn't that hard, but we make it seem like this big, huge mountain when it's like a molehill.
Make the call early in the month. So that way it's already, you know, that time is set aside and you have that set in your schedule. You don't have to worry about squeezing it in between everything else.
I had a set time, like every second Tuesday at 2 o'clock. I would start out about 2 o'clock, would visit one sister, and then would go on to the next.
I think planning early makes it easier. It's like if you save it till last minute, you have everything seems to pile on at once. But when you kind of set it priority first, it makes it easier to have that time.
Of it, because you're just there to share a thought, not a talk, if that makes sense, you know. Yeah. Just to kind of like uplift them for the week or whatever. They may be having a hard day, and maybe just you going and visiting was all they needed.
I just think that it's really neat that we have the opportunity to get to know the people around us and care about them, and we're given charge over them. Like the scriptures say, we've been called to administer to their needs, and I think that it gives you a perfect opportunity to look past your own struggles, to find out, you know, there are people out there who really could use your help, and your experiences that you've gone through can be a blessing to them as well. And once you kind of just let loose of that really difficult barrier to move past, it can be a really huge blessing in your life.
You know, just so that she knows I'm thinking of her. If she needs help, I'm sure I'm like the last on her 50 million contacts, but I'm here in case she needs something, you know.
Wherever you go in the church, you've always got friends, you know, especially if you visit Teach, you know, you meet more sisters, and you just get a sisterhood and friendship with everybody that you visit. So, and you can't give up. I mean, you know, some people just don't want you to come, but you just have to keep trying, you know, and take them treats, or just, you know, invite them to different things, and just be their friend, you know.
I am Shayla Moore, and I am a member of the Relief Society in the Willowbrook Ward.
I am Kristen Casper, and I am a member of the Relief Society of the Willowbrook Ward.
I am Lindsay Dolan, and I am a member of the Relief Society in the Willowbrook Ward.
I am Vicki Funk, and I'm a member of the Relief Society in the Willowbrook Ward.